Hello, everybody. This is Ish, your host for the Cali podcast.
And this is Grimace. How's it going, everybody?
We hope everybody's doing well today. Thank you very much for being here. We do appreciate you watching this video on either sorry about that, YouTube or Spotify. And we want to at least invite you to the Cali podcast so you can like, subscribe, share, and also don't forget to hit that bell notification button if you're already a subscriber.
Yeah, still not currently streaming live on Netflix. Hey, but soon enough.
Maybe one day, who knows?
Yeah, once we figure out some sort of deal with them, then we wouldn't mind broadcasting from there. But I like your thinking, Ish.
Yeah, of course. If they ever want to pick this up, we'll be more than glad to get this autobiography / whatever the case is for the Cali Current podcast. But at this time, we would like to invite you today we're gonna discuss certain things, and we do want to let you know that these are just for a matter of opinion. We don't really discuss too many specific items, but we do try to entertain you with these topics that we have, and today's topics are probably going to surely entertain you today. So what do you think about drinking coffee, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, so to coffee or not to coffee?
Correct.
Me personally, I'm not a really habitual coffee drinker.
Okay.
From what I understand, about 62% of the nation is actually a coffee drinker.
Wow, that's a lot.
What about yourself? Are you an habitual coffee drinker?
No, I really don't drink a lot of coffee. I drink a lot of hot chocolate, or for some people that have known it, hot cocoa, whatever the case may be. But I'm not a big time coffee drinker. I never got used to it for some reason. I mean, I'm more used to drinking café con leche in Spanish, cafe latte, forever. All of you that know what that term means, milk inside your coffee, or just coffee in general with milk boiled or whatever the case may be. But that's the type of coffee I'm used to. I'm not really a habitual coffee drinker at all.
I from what I understood of coffee, like café con leche with the milk or coffee with milk, I remember hearing that Alicia Keys song where she says, it was like an R&B love song. She says, normally the boss tells us to make coffee with water, but since she's more it's a love story about Alicia Keys, about that guy who goes to her coffee shop. She's like, but I make yours with some milk.
Oh, okay.
So I
So
guess
with like extra love or something?
yeah,
Is
I
that what
guess
she's
it's extra
implying?
love with the
Oh, wow.
milk versus with
Yeah.
water versus water.
Yeah, because there's a big difference between drinking coffee in water and, of course, instant coffee for most of you that like to drink your instant coffee. Because there's a lot of varieties of coffee. There's different types of coffee. There's different types of coffee bean as well, but it just depends how you like your coffee. Me, myself, I don't drink cold brew at all. I like myself like a frap, like a mocha, but blended frappuccino from Starbucks. And I don't know if they coined that phrase frappuccino. What do you think about that?
Yeah, so from the Frappuccino, I'm not too sure if they coined it or if you could go to another coffee shop like to Dutch Brothers and say, "Hey, let me get a Frappuccino." I know a cappuccino is the like more of a universal term amongst all the coffee
Correct.
shops. But Frappuccino, a frap might be just specifically to Starbucks. But yeah, me personally, I don't really use coffee too often. I remember reading an article, however, like in a fitness magazine, where they were referring to coffee as the bodybuilder's tea, because it improves your mental focus. It also boosts up your metabolism, and apparently, it's also good to. It also got some health benefits to it. It helps reduce the risk of Parkinson's disease, liver disease, and even type 2 diabetes.
Wow.
So yeah, that's what when I was pretty amazed to hear that. But I'm guessing it's like that's more like just the pure coffee or the black
Correct.
coffee.
So just coffee without any sugar, without any additives like milk or creamer or anything like that?
Yeah, without all the fancy caramels, the
Correct.
sugars. Because apparently when you be getting that like one large caramel macchiato, now that one does sound like a Starbucks term.
Wow.
So like a large caramel macchiato has over 250 calories and over 33 grams of sugar. I think that's like a can of soda.
That's a lot of sugar, period. Doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah, and sugar overall, from all the health information I've been recently digesting, sugar is something we should all work to cut out of our diet. I mean, who doesn't love sugar, right? Cookies,
It's very addictive.
flan, What else? Chocolate.
Anything with sugar is awesome.
Oreo cookies. Yeah, sugar is
Sugar on
man's
sugar is
good.
awesome. Believe it or not, you know.
Yeah, sugar. I know, right? Like a Coca-Cola with some chocolate chip cookies.
There you go. Something, yeah. No, I mean, me myself, you know, since we're trying to do the healthy or the diet or the exercise or whatever the healthy living type of plan that we're on, you know, you do your workouts, I guess, in the morning,
Yeah.
and I do my workouts usually at midnight, give or take, because
Hmm.
I'm gonna go to the gym probably right now. You know, it's pretty late right now for a day in the week during the week, but I don't care what time it is. It's never too late to go to the gym.
Oh, nice.
But you know, I think I try to stay away. Mostly, my main point is try to stay away from the sugars. Try to stay away from the coffee. Not because I don't like coffee. I never got used to drinking coffee on a daily, you know, thing for me. I don't do it.
Yeah, because I mean, I've heard of some people or even some friends or family members that they'll be drinking like multiple cups of coffee throughout the day. Like I know a lot of them start off their day with coffee,
Correct.
and then when they get that 2 p.m. sluggishness
Yeah.
feeling, they get another cup of coffee. And
And one before the end of the night. So just you know, they can coffee 3 days a day. Sorry, 3 times a day.
yeah, I mean, back when I was in college and university, the only times I would actually use coffee back then, like to stay up, like studying for the finals exams. I was always a big crammer, you know, trying to get all the information right before
Yeah.
the big final to do the big test and do well on those. And then that's when I actually that's those are the times I'd actually, you know, go back and use coffee. But I would kind of like not really put sugar or anything on it. I'll just get the Folgers, put the scoop, mix it up, and it was a pretty harsh, bitter taste, but it got the trick done.
Yeah.
Helped me stay focused, and you know, stay up, not fall asleep, and because whenever I try to cram out all that information that overnight, I would get sleepy and start fall, you know, and next thing you know, I'm gonna sleep on my books. So yeah, just to keep focus and not fall asleep and cram as much information as I can out, you know, hit no, that natural drug, I guess, caffeine.
Correct. Well,
Um,
yeah, you know it. The sugar is in everything. Me myself, or I was a big soda drinker. I basically stopped drinking it because of the sugar content. You know, it's bad for everybody. But me personally, I don't like it because I know it's not good for me, and in general, because I want to make sure that I try to live at least a healthier life, a longer life in the future, if you know I get that far, just to keep sugar a little bit less in my diet because of the fact that it is awful in terms of consuming so much sugar for me. Now, for everybody else, you know, if you love your sugar, you like your soda, you like your coffee, that's your prerogative. We appreciate everybody's opinion on this matter. We're giving you guys our opinion. We do appreciate everybody for tuning in to the Cali Korean Podcast. Your host, Ish.
and Grimace.
So, yeah, we just wanted to start off with coffee because it's a big subject. Everybody's going to rely on it for the next few days, especially now that the holidays are coming closer every single day. But our main topic that we're going to speak about is called for natural disasters. I'm sure a lot of you guys in the U.S., a lot of females, a lot of people in general across our great nation here have experienced a natural disaster or not. If you don't live in the zone of natural disasters or certain states, wherever you may live in the entire world, it doesn't matter where you're at. You know, maybe you experience some type of natural disaster, but here in California, we mostly experience earthquakes, and that's mainly what we're going to be speaking about at this point.
Yeah, so I mean, you know, before we leave the topic about coffee,
Okay?
yeah, just so basically the last takeaway from the coffee is, you know, do it in moderation, and if you are gonna do it, just watch out the sugary drink part of it,
Yeah,
because coffee is actually pretty good for you, you know,
but not the
keeping you
sugar.
focused. But yeah, not the sugar. So I'm gonna try to, you know, maybe start a little coffee experiment,
Okay?
minus all the sugary stuff to it, because I would like to improve my mental focus but and limitations because I also know it stains your teeth and you know I'm
Yes.
trying to keep my pearly whites nice and pearly white nowadays.
Yeah,
But
no, 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 yeah, no. Trust me, I love myself a good coffee on a cold day, like on a winter day, like we're starting to get now that we're getting closer and closer to winter. But don't
uh,
get me wrong, I love myself a good coffee once in a great while, but I don't rely on it on a daily activity, on a daily basis as well.
yeah, so I'm gonna try to incorporate it on a maybe on an every other day basis, and I'm gonna try to see because it might be forceful, but I'll see. Maybe do some more research on it and
Yeah,
see.
well, for health reasons, yeah, it makes sense because,
Yeah.
like you said, it's the bodybuilder's tea, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's what I was thinking about. Like, hey, I
And
wanna.
everybody loves their tea too. Especially across the world, across the pond, or wherever you may be. There's everybody has a preference. You either like soda, coffee, tea, whatever it may be. I guess strawberry lemonade if you're from the south or whatever the case is, or lemonade in general, or actually tea. I'm talking about tea in general, like iced tea. But yeah, no, but there's many ways for you to get your fix. Because everybody has their own preference.
Yeah, so main thing it's all about balance. I guess just listen to your body, and if it's keeping you up at night and you're feeling all jittery, then reduce the coffee and
That's
the
a bad sign
caffeine.
right there
Yeah,
if you're feeling jittery because of the fact that coffee should make you feel a little bit better for waking up and not jittery before you go to bed.
yeah, or jittery and not too jittery to get you all jittered up. If like an earthquake hits, like we're gonna be talking about natural
Yes,
disasters.
especially here in California because we experience so many earthquakes. How many earthquakes do you think we go through every single year? Because there's so many. I mean, they're not all major, of course.
Yeah.
They're all, the majority of them are minor. Sometimes we don't even feel them at all because that's how used to we have gotten to earthquakes in California, Southern California at least.
Yeah, so apparently there's over 10,000 earthquakes in California,
That's a lot.
but most of them are too small to be felt.
Correct.
But yeah, the big ones you always feel those, and those always get recorded.
And speaking of the big earthquakes that we do feel, do you remember when you were little, what earthquake you felt first? Because me myself, I was about maybe 10 years old, 1987 ish, when I was in fifth grade, and I remember that we were having breakfast at our breakfast table. My mom, my two brothers, we were getting ready for school. It was about 7:40 ish in the morning,
Hmm.
having my cereal, if I remember correctly, and all of a sudden I felt a weird jolt, like I started thinking to myself, scared. I was scared. I was frightened, actually, believe it or not, to be honest with you. I felt like a bulldozer was moving my house sideways because it felt like a giant rumble. It felt like something was moving the house. That's how bad the shaking was. Do you remember how old you were when you experienced your first earthquake?
Yeah, I remember in the first earthquake. I guess I was right, maybe right around 7 years old.
Okay.
And yeah, I remember like abruptly being woken up, my mom running into our rooms, waking us up, saying, "Hey, watch out! Like, are you guys okay? Are you guys okay?" And at that time, the room was still shaking. I was like, "Whoa, what's going on?" I was not really prepared for any earthquake or um. I still don't even recall them training us for earthquakes. Maybe before 7 years old.
Correct.
So I just remember seeing the water in the backyard was violently moving in the pool of water, and I was just like, "Oh crap! I've never seen that happen before." I
Oh,
was
wow.
like,
You guys had a pool?
"Yeah, we had a pool, and
Okay.
yeah, so grew up with a pool, but it was really nice seeing the water like no, not really nice.
Oh.
It was like really
You were
interesting."
like, in your head, you were like, what's happening? Why is the water going like that, right?
Yeah,
Were you scared,
exactly.
like, or frightened? I mean,
Yeah, yeah, I was really frightened and terrified. I was like, "What in the world is going on?" And by the time I was seeing the backyard pool water splishing and splashing, by then yeah, it was pretty much subdued. The shaking had stopped and all, but during the moment, it was like one of those crazy earthquakes because there's like the P wave type earthquakes
Okay.
and the S wave type
Okay.
earthquakes. So the P wave ones is the one where it's like it's shaking you like
Yeah, like
hardcore,
all
like
over the place.
yeah, like it could even make you fall if you're trying to walk or run. Versus the S wave ones is more like a swaying action, swaying back and forth. It was kind of like a more like a
Okay.
smooth ride.
Yeah. And those don't feel as threatening as the P waves, I would assume, because of
Yeah,
the fact that, you know, we were little, yeah, when we experienced our first earthquakes in general, but because, we get so used to them over the years, like, oh, it doesn't even feel like a 3.0. We already guess in our mind what we're going to do. And of course, everybody now with their social media, everybody wants to be the first reporter. Hey, did everybody feel the earthquake 3.4 in this zone, that zone, or whatever, fault it was at. And of course, the major fault we have here in Southern California is the San Andreas fault, correctly?
yeah, the San Andreas fault. That's the one that they keep saying that the big ones are coming, the big earthquake is coming.
Yeah.
So apparently, there's supposed to be a 75% chance of another big earthquake hitting in California, because I believe there's supposed to be one in every 30 years. So the last one is way overdue from the big one. I think it was the San Andreas earthquake or the
Or you're talking about like the one that happened, I mean, the last major one that happened, I think I know if I remember correctly, was in the early 1900s in San Francisco. You're talking about from the San Andreas Fault. That's the one that really devastated the town, that decimated the town actually of San Francisco, because the caught on fire and then it just burned like crazy over and over for weeks maybe, and so many people died, and it was early 1900s, so technology wasn't up to date as it is today. But it's
Mm.
funny that you say that because I remember hearing about 30 years ago that yeah, we're due for the big one. We're due for the big one. Yeah, we always try to prep for it and everything, But I mean, who knows? We may never be ready. I mean, of course, we're not going to know when it's going to happen. Do you feel like you're prepared for an earthquake if we get the big one anytime soon?
I mean, honestly, I feel kind of safe about it if it were to happen again, another big, ginormous earthquake. The only thing that would concern me would be if it would trigger a tsunami. Seeing
Yeah.
how, what are we, well, right now from where the studio is here in Santana, what are we like, maybe 10 miles away from the ocean?
About 10 miles at the most.
Yeah, so if we get a tsunami that could, travel these 10 miles, then that I wouldn't be able to prepare for that. That would decimate all my assets, everything I got over here, all my physical assets at least. But I mean, as far as being prepared, I mean, I got water some emergency waters and bottled water that I do have prepared.
Okay. Do you have canned goods?
Canned goods, you know what? I've actually stayed away from the canned goods after around the 2020 around coronavirus time. That's when I started like reading up on canned foods and how they got all these preservatives, and I just kind of stayed away from the canned foods since then. But that's when they would come in handy, having those preservatives for an emergency type
Correct.
situation.
Yeah, because you never know. And canned goods are good because yeah, you can store them forever. They're gonna be there in your pantry, and once you need them, you can restore them again. You don't have to refrigerate them, and that's why I guess they do have those preservatives for that reason, because of the fact that they want to prolong the shelf life of these foods, so they can be there for that reason. But I know my mom has a lot of canned foods where she lives, because I don't live with her. I live with my brother. But my brother is definitely not prepared because I live with my brother and I don't see that they have very many canned foods in their pantry.
Mm.
So everybody has their own way of preparing or not even caring if to prepare.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really put much thought into preparing for an earthquake. Although, as a resident of California, that should really be something that, especially that they're saying there's a 75% chance that Southern California is overdue for a earthquake.
Big one.
Yeah, so
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, I got the water thing down. I got plenty of bottles of water. I always got that stocked up. But the canned food, I'm probably gonna have to have at least maybe a month supply of some sort of tuna or canned chicken,
Yeah.
and
Just
maybe yeah.
fruit, I mean, whatever, vegetables, I guess. I don't know. There's a lot of things that they could be canned nowadays. It's like not even funny. I mean, spam can last outside. I mean, they don't have to be refrigerated. I don't know what that's made out of, but I know everybody likes it. That loves that type of canned goods. But I've never tried it myself, so I don't know what it tastes like, to be honest with you. But speaking of the fear that we did discuss, when you were children, I've heard of some people that were tourists and they experienced their first earthquake here in Southern California when they were here visiting or just being here as a tourist for whatever reason, and they felt like frightened as well too. It's just I guess the unknown, the fear of the unknown, especially when something like that surprises you. You don't know what to do, you don't know how to act, you don't know how to react. So it's like I get it. I get them because that's how I felt when I was 9, 10 years old when I first experienced my first earthquake. And then to that note, I would assume that anybody would be frightened, and there's nothing wrong with that. I know I would be frightened if I was possibly in a hurricane, if I was in the summertime, when the hurricane season is happening, especially around the southeastern Gulf Coast, where, especially the hurricanes lately that have been coming through, I don't know what I would do in that instance. I don't know how they would prepare. Yeah, of course, there's certain measures they take and all that.
Mm.
But not to disparage anybody that's ever experienced any type of natural disaster, because me myself, I've also been in a tornado warning myself. But I mean, what would you think you would have done if you feel like you would have been prepared, if you would have experienced anything different other than an earthquake?
I mean, as far as anything aside from an earthquake. Well, one thing, you can only prepare so much. Like
Correct.
if you work
Yeah.
in a skyrise building, I used to work in the insurance industry, and every day I would go up to like the 5th floor, I believe, or 10th floor. I don't even remember what
Yeah.
floor. And I would go up there, and I was just thinking, man, if an earthquake were to hit, what would I do? I
Yeah.
was like, I was even thinking, man, I better have like a parachute ready. But I mean, I didn't go out and buy a parachute, you
No,
know.
no. Well, you're talking about it like in being in downtown LA in one of those skyscrapers, right? Because you used to be there a lot when you
Yeah,
used to be in the
exactly.
insurance industry, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, in my mind, I would just think, all right, if an earthquake hits or, 9/11, RIP to the fallen soldiers and fallen, people that went into the 9/11.
Yeah.
But like if, or some sort of disaster like that hit where, we can't go down the stairs, I already thought in my brain, all right, swing the chair at the glass window and then,
Jump
hopefully have a
out.
pair, jump out and have a
Just go for
parachute.
it. Yeah, right. Go all gun ho, go all whatever, evil Knievel. I don't know.
Evel Knievel, or have a paraglider. Maybe if that's a more economical option than a parachute, a paraglide. Have it fly like a little flying squirrel or
hard.
something.
It's hard to fathom, but it could be doable possibly. But
Yeah.
you know what? I have my own personal story where I was frightened, especially now as a grown up, because about 11. Well, let me see. I've been with my wife 11 years already. Actually, about 9 years ago, when we first cohabitated together, she lived in a third-story apartment building, and I was there mostly all the time, visiting or whatever the case is. We were already cohabitating, I guess. But my point is, I remember that it was about 9 or 10 p.m. and we were basically on the second flight of stairs, going up to the third floor, and we both felt a jolt because she was in front of me. So what I did, my natural instinct was run the heck down the stairs and into the middle of the street, and she didn't know what to do because she was paralyzed in fear. So I left her behind.
Damn.
I was that much of an inconsiderate nincompoop that I left her behind on the second floor, and I was already in the middle of the street, and she's like, Milo, where did you leave me? Because that's what she calls me.
Well, good thing you guys didn't take the elevator. Why were you guys in the stairs though?
Well, there was no elevator at that building. They didn't have an elevator. We had to walk up those stairs physically every single day.
Oh dang! Every day.
Every
Wait,
day.
that's some good exercise.
It
Though.
is, it is. But the problem was that I left her up there, and not because I wanted to strand her there, but because I'm a reactionary person. I'll react to something like an earthquake right away, even when it's 2 or 3 in the morning and they hit. Or my dog used to warn us.
Oh
She
yeah.
used to sometimes feel it right before it happened,
Mm-hmm.
and me myself, that's just how I do. I'm like, I'm ready to just bolt. I don't care if I'm in my underwear, and if I'm buck stark naked, I'll just run out if I have to, because I'm thinking about safety. Because if we're living on the third floor, how safe can you be, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you're on the third floor, well, so when you guys felt the waves or the earthquake happening, you guys were literally on the staircase.
We were on the second floor, getting up to our third floor. But it was a wraparound staircase where you go up one set, then you have to go back up the next set of
Yeah.
10 steps, and they're all concrete steps, so you could hear clearly, loudly, who's coming up and down those steps, because they're very, it had a metal bar for the banister,
Uh huh.
and it's like you could clearly hear every little step, because the faster you go down, the more louder it gets.
So how did you do it? Like you just like ran and dashed by her and like beat her to the bottom or to the
No,
outside?
no.
Or?
I didn't dash by her because she was in front of me. I always stayed behind her
Ah.
when we were going up the stairs, because I made sure she was always safe. And if
Oh.
anything happened, I would always catch her if that was the case.
Oh right. Well then, yeah. If you
So
booked
I,
it,
I literally left her there, not because I wanted to, or not because I was scared, but because it was my natural instinct to fight or flight.
No, I mean it does sound bad, but I mean, what are you gonna do? Like, give me your hand and like bring her down with you, like running. No, so
I yelled at her, Sarah, let's go down, or I don't remember what I said to her.
Yeah.
But the point is, I left her there not because I wanted to, but because I'm like, wow, I can't be that inconsiderate, and I'm not. I am not. The thing is, my instinct kicked in, and I just bolted down the stairs and into the middle of the street, because that's the safest place that I know that nothing might not happen to me.
Oh, don't you guys have a little dog, Gracie?
At that time, we didn't have her yet. This was 9 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Gracie's only been around 6 years, and yeah, but she wasn't around. But now, even when we still lived like in the second or third floor of any apartment buildings when Gracie was around, I always made sure to grab Gracie first and just bolt if necessary. You know,
Oh,
my
damn.
my wife just likes to, be like a statue and just freeze. I don't know what it is, if she has a mental blockage, and I'm not saying anything wrong about that. I'm just saying because she just doesn't react, and I don't know if that's something that I can tell her to fix. But everybody has their own way of reacting to a certain natural disaster. If you're literally in the thick of it.
No, yeah, it happens. People like I remember watching the Bad Boys, I think Bad Boys 4 movie with Martin Lawrence and Will Smith.
Okay.
Bad Boys for Life se llama. And in that one, towards that one, the character of Will Smith, que se llama Mike Lowry, that fool, like in that one, towards the end, he's already like he gets stuck in moments, like it's like oh, like action's going down, and then I guess since he's becoming more of a seasoned officer, now he's like when the action fight or flight type of thing happens, like he would get stuck, like like how you're saying, like
Just a
how
mental lapse, maybe.
yeah, like a mental lapse, or like
Okay.
sometimes like people get stuck like in situations like
Yeah, I think that's what
yeah.
it was. I think, for the most part, that's what it was. But I have another actual story that I can recount, and this one
Mm.
has nothing to do with earthquakes. It does have to do with natural disasters because that's basically the main topic that we're talking about right now. So there was this one point where me and my wife were in Texas, we're in Houston for my cousin's wedding, and we had decided to go to New Orleans just for one night, a full 24-hour turnaround. We spent the night there, of course. We parted in, I guess the French Quarter. I forgot the name of the street, Bourbon Street, and then we came
Hey.
back. So the point is, we were coming back, Louisiana still. We were getting close to the border of Texas, state of Texas, with Louisiana, and we were in the middle of a tornado warning. Granted, we were in a rental. We were covered, blindsided by a bunch of water that we thought it was at least 4 or 5 feet deep because it was just a rush, a tidal wave of water where we thought we were going to die that evening because we're like, we've never been in this situation. We don't know what to do because we,
Damn.
we had the radio on and we started hearing the emergency broadcast system, those loud screeching sounds would be before they make the announcements.
Was it raining that when you guys were in
Well,
the car that
well,
or
it was raining, but the tornado was really close that we thought we were going to get swept away by the tornado. That's how frightening it was. And we started praying and we're like, okay, this is where we're going to end up. And, thank you, God, for the life you have given us. We've been so blessed. And no, but we really thought we were going to perish. And it was super scary. So I don't know how everybody does it that lives in those states, especially, for any type of natural disasters that are not natural to me because, sorry, not natural to me because I only experienced earthquakes most of my life. But that's very scary stuff. I mean, I wouldn't wish that on anybody. That's really scary.
yeah, and then after those I forgot which hurricane it was that came from New Orleans, or when there was a flooding in New Orleans, and then when
Yeah, the Hurricane Katrina,
Katrina, there you go. From that time, then I
2005.
learned that New Orleans is actually like underwater, not underwater, but I guess it's
They're
like
at
in
sea
a
level.
basin that's
Correct.
below. I think they're below sea
Correct.
level, no, or
Correct. Yeah,
something
they're
like
they're a little
that.
bit below. Correct.
Yeah, so that kind of adds to it. Like when you go to New Orleans, like maybe the tornado or the hurricane could throw water in there more susceptible to that.
The levees are supposed to keep the water at a certain height, the sea level,
Oh, right.
but that only helps so much. But that's why it sunk, and that's why they had all that flooding back in 2005 when that happened. But no, I mean, we were already basically on the outskirts of the state. We were already coming back towards Texas, but it was just scary being in a tornado warning, just in the general near vicinity of of a tornado. It's just a very frightening experience that I would not wish it on anybody. It was awful. Like we literally thought we were gonna perish. But I don't know. I mean, everybody just deals with it their own way. Everybody knows how to do what to do, when to do it. Because we're trying to go close to one of those overpass under the bridge ramps, where that's what they recommend to do if in case there's a tornado nearby. But we didn't get close to one, and we thought that's it. We were done.
Yeah, and some statistics to throw at you guys. According to the United Nations, natural disasters have actually increased over 50% in the past 2 decades compared to the previous 20 years. So yeah, these natural disasters, they're only happening with more frequency. So it's gonna be a good idea to have like some sort of safety plan, exit plan. So if you are one of those people that live in a state like California, where earthquakes are pretty common, and we're all kind of expecting the big one, have some sort of exit plan, especially if you're in a high rise building. And another thing too, if you got pets, think about what are you gonna do with your pets. Like one thing that just kind of concerned me right now discussing this issue was if a big tsunami did hit or a big earthquake hit Southern California, because we're right here by the ocean,
Correct.
and it triggers a tsunami. I got two little dogs with two Dachshunds, and I'm just like, that big tidal wave comes. I might have to choose which of the two I'm gonna,
Well, you can't go to that extreme, but yeah, of course, but you never know in the moment, right?
Yeah, exactly. So in the moment, also have some sort of security plan. Like if the whole grid goes down, Wi-Fi goes down, electricity goes down. Maybe have some sort of place where you could recoup with your family, regroup. Because sometimes routes will be blocked. Sometimes traffic, freeways might get clogged or broken just due to debris
Streets,
and the
yeah.
earthquake.
Well, streets might be ruined. I mean, how are you gonna go down the street if it's like split in half or whatever the case is? Like in the movie San Andreas, yeah, that could be very real. That could be a possibility. I mean, I just find it funny that when they make movies, Hollywood or in general, I mean, I just find it funny that every single, I guess, disaster movie or any natural disaster movie, it's just funny how the natural disaster always follows the main character. You know what I'm talking about? And not because we're talking about movies, but I just find that funny because in San Andreas, they're always avoiding the crack, they're always avoiding the earthquake or the building falling on top of them because that's how it happens in real life. Nothing comes down at the same time. It just follows the main characters. That's just my take on that. But one day we'll probably discuss that topic one day about how sometimes these stigmas in these movies come about. But yeah, so I mean, for whatever reason, where you may be around the world, there could be volcanoes, there could be earthquakes, there could be possibly tsunami after the earthquake. Of course, we all know about the Japan tsunami that took place 2011, I would assume, and
Oh yeah.
hurricanes, typhoons. There's so many natural disasters that we don't even think about.
Yeah, and that's also those are also contribute to that statistic about the increase of natural disasters increasing 50%. And I'm only gonna imagine they're only gonna in the next 20 years only gonna keep going up and up and
Yeah.
up. My personal hypothesis is because how the globe keeps spinning faster and faster. So and also global warming, whether it's true or not. But the thing that's heating up this big Earth or home that we call Earth is just gonna be more susceptible to these natural disasters, like the tsunami that hit Japan, which was triggered by an earthquake, and then also a big earthquake that hit India, I think in 2004 or something.
Yeah, and that was Myanmar.
Yeah, and that one apparently killed over 200,000 people.
Yeah.
I mean, I know India is like densely populated, but still, that regardless, that was a lot of lives claimed through a natural disaster that it's really hard to prepare for, and sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they weren't expecting it, so our hearts go out to all the families that lost loved ones in that natural disaster, and I myself pray for every day the people that are damaged or sorry that are affected by natural disasters that they find solace and God may grant them peace and or tranquility after all that happens. So, but yeah, I mean, we never know when something might happen, and we never know if the big one's gonna happen. We never know when something is gonna just take us away, and that's gonna be the end of us right there.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, usually me when in my prayers, one of the things I do keep in my prayers is the homeless, which was the topic of episode
Yes.
1.
Yes.
But yeah, also the these natural disasters, because that's not something that's freshly in my head. It's usually in the back burner. The homeless, yeah, I see them every day. Just going down the street, down the market. But yeah, natural disasters, and those are the really unfortunate ones because it's just like you're having your regular life or running your regular life, and then boom, in a switch, no electricity, no gas,
Correct.
internet, Wi-Fi, and
And it affects everybody,
Yeah.
humans and animals alike. So everybody's affected in a bad way too. When natural disasters may occur.
Yeah, and one interesting tidbit I learned was it said after a big earthquake was don't light up any lighters or matches because there could be gas leaks
Yeah.
and then one match or spark could ignite an explosion.
Correct.
And most of the time, gas is now has that scent, but I heard not the only reason why the gas has that smell is just because before like it naturally doesn't have a smell, so they
Correct.
had to add that
Odorless.
smell. Yeah, it's
Correct.
odorless, but now they artificially put the smell so we could detect and be
Okay.
like, hey, there's a gas leak. Watch out.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's a good safety measure for getting everybody aware of what to look for when something like that may happen. So
And then another thing, just to shake things up that I didn't know. Apparently, the Ring of Fire is actually responsible for about 90% of the world's earthquakes. For those of you who don't know, the Ring of Fire is like a horseshoe shaped zone in the Pacific Ocean where a lot of the tectonic plates and activities going down. That little Ring of Fire, or that big Ring of Fire, it actually extends from New Zealand through Indonesia, Japan, Alaska, and down to the west coast of over here, home in America.
California.
Yeah, well,
Well,
California.
there's two plates that separate here in Southern California. That's why it's called the San Andreas Fault. It's the Pacific Plate that we live on here in LA or in Southern California for the majority of the portion of it, and also the North the North American Plate. Sorry about that. I was trying to remember. That goes northwest words, and the Pacific Plate goes southeastward. So they're rubbing against each other like this. They're passing each other by because eventually one day Southern California or whatever part of it you want to put the plates for the North American Plate will end up in like Seattle, Washington area, because that's how much these plates are going to move over thousands and thousands, many millions of years. Eventually, Southern California is going to end up in the northwestern part of the U.S. because that's what it's going towards for the fact that that's how these plates move.
Yeah, and it's crazy that we can't stop these natural processes. The only thing we could really do is prepare for them. Thank goodness that now they're like developing these early warning systems. Like they got them sirens, and even Hawaii has the sirens.
Okay.
And
they put them up recently when the when the volcano started getting active again, right?
Yeah, I believe so. What about that disaster? Do you know anybody that was personally affected by that Hawaii? What went down in Hawaii? Was it a fire? Or?
No, I thought it was just a volcano erupting.
And then it
There's
lit
videos of
everything
that.
on fire, right?
Correct. Well, there was videos of vehicles and homes being consumed by the lava that was flowing. Just if everybody didn't know, the volcanoes, when they spew lava, it's already molten. It's already the color that you see it. But when it solidifies underground or within the volcano, it's called magma. Just a little tidbit if you wanted to know exactly what that was.
Yeah, magma. That's
Under the ground.
under the ground. Yeah, and so if you live around the Ring of Fire and any of those mentioned locations or Hawaii, just like I said, have some sort of game plan, exit plan, safety route where you want to meet up with your loved ones. That way, you don't get lost, and also make sure to have a plan for your pets too, because me as a pet owner, now I gotta start considering. All right, I don't want to choose between my two dogs, so I gotta be ready to somehow get them both in a carrier and
Just carry them wherever you are.
have them ready to jam
And
out.
I have a carrier for my Gracie as well. I carry it as much as I can every time I have her within my vehicle. So I know exactly what you mean because I have that sort of a little bit planned out myself. But, we do want to give our heart outs to everybody that's experienced any type of natural disaster. Me and Grimace always pray. And we always make sure that we pray for everybody that needs to be prayed for, okay? We do also would like to advise if you're watching the Cali Current podcast for the first time, this is your host, Ish.
And I'm Grimace.
And we want you to please like, share, subscribe, and please tell your friends about us. And we're going to keep posting videos about topics that you guys want to hear about and want to participate about. And if you have any comments, please write to them in the comment section, and we're more than happy to answer your comments. Or if you have any suggestions, or if you like the podcast, please let us know. Thank you very much for watching. No matter what, we're always here on YouTube and Spotify.
Yeah, so now let's switch gears to something more cheerful.
Okay.
Christmas.
Yes.
So yeah, one of my favorite
Or the
parts of
holidays. Or the holidays.
Yeah, or the holidays. So whether it's holiday shopping, decorating the tree, or attending light shows, there's a lot of different things to do.
Yeah.
What about yourself? Do you put a artificial tree up? Do you put a tree up? Do you wait till after Thanksgiving?
I have a tree that's an artificial tree that already has all the lights added.
Yeah,
I don't
same here.
I don't like to take the time to put the lights because that takes a lot of time sometimes. But I don't know if I'm gonna take it out of storage because right now it's in my storage right now, so I haven't done that yet. And we're close, to the holiday season already coming up. I mean, the end of the year already happened. The 2024 is basically long and gone already.
Yeah, so I saw this meme, or maybe not a meme, more of an informative reel, I guess, where it said people that decorate or put up their tree early tend to be happier. And I was like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna test that theory out. So I gotta put up my tree. I'm gonna put it up before Thanksgiving even, and have it ready to rock and roll.
I do the opposite. I like to, if I put up my tree, I like to have it on for the longest period of time after the 6th of January. But everybody has, their own method of doing things, If you're already in the holiday mood, the holiday spirit, have you already put up your holiday tree? Have you already put up your holiday lights on your home or in general where you live? Have you already decorated? Have you already started your shopping list? Because that's very important. Of course, the holidays are right around the corner. And if you haven't even thought of knowing what to do, what to buy, or who to buy for, this is the time where it's basically crunch time. We're already getting close to the 100-yard line after the 100-yard dash, and you're basically 90 yards away, so you don't know what to do. You better start looking at what you're going to get done, because these next month and a half, or what month, actually more than like 43 days, give or take. About 33-ish days now that we're close to the end of November, is going to be come and gone quickly. The year's gone. Now this month's going to go by really quickly in December.
Yeah, there's times where I've been able to plan out my shopping and get it done like a week before Christmas or with time to spare. And then there's been other years where I left it to the last minute and I'm out there at the stores trying to buy gifts with friends. Also that, at the last minute also, hey, did you get all your gifts? No. Or, hey, let's go to the mall, right? And then out there battling it out in the traffic and
inside
long
the malls.
lines, inside the malls. And then the worst part is it's hard to find anything. And then at the last minute, all the good gifts are kind of gone. And especially the ones that are good priced, you're not going to find too many good deals.
Nope.
So
yeah, everything's already cherry picked by the time you get there on the 24th. Sorry, on the 23rd, Christmas Eve.
Yeah, and then if you're trying to get them clothes, all the good styles are gone. All the typical sizes are gone.
Yeah, well, you know what? I don't have that issue because honestly, and not to sound like I'm a Scrooge or anything, I think every year I sort of celebrate less and less the holiday season, and not because I don't enjoy it, because I think now that I'm getting every year's going by and I'm getting to a certain age, I sort of don't see it as the same anymore, especially when you're a kid. Everything's wonderful when you're a kid. Everything is great. Everything is awesome. You get a million gifts. But I think, I'm not jaded or anything, but I like to get away mostly at the end of the year. And I am going to go away this holiday season. I am going to leave on the 21st of December on the first day of the winter solstice. And I'm going to be back here in the States on the 1st of January. So that's what really I typically would prefer to do at the end of the holiday season.
Oh, nice. That'd be a good little getaway from the American traditions and go into a different country or a different state.
I'm going back to my roots. I'm going back to Mexico. I'm going back to where I grew up. Where I was born, because I grew up here in the States. I grew up here in Santa Ana. And I'm going back to visit my family, and I'm going back to just have a little R&R because I've had a rough 2024. And I don't feel bad for me, I don't feel bad for myself, but I just like to be away out of the country. I think I did that a lot when I was younger, in my younger years, before I got married, before a lot of things in life. But now that I went through this whole year, I think I deserve a time off.
All right, so you're a Mexico Mexican. All
Yes,
right,
yes, yes.
that's what's
I'm a
up.
Mexican American, to be honest with you. But don't get me wrong. I love the holidays, but I'd rather be elsewhere in the holiday season.
Oh, okay. Oh, but that's still the. I mean, Mexico still celebrates Christmas, right?
Oh
They're
yeah,
still
yeah.
on the
No, they're big
Christmas.
on that. No, no, I love it over there. I love. I mean, I haven't been in December, maybe for 4 or 5 years. I think right before COVID. But I'm going back finally because I feel like more at home, in the sense that the traditions over there are different. I mean, I enjoy them more over there for some reason. And I have my relatives over there, but my main family's here. But right
Oh,
here, it's
okay.
different. It's just a different vibe now. I don't know what it is. I can't explain it.
Yeah, I wonder. I wonder what it's like over there, because apparently, according to the statistics over here, on average, Americans are expected to spend an average of $975 per person this holiday
That's a lot.
season.
That is a lot.
I mean, that probably takes into account like the food and gifts, because $975. I don't just on gifts, but then again, if you're spending like 50 or $100 per person, by the time you get to 10 people, you're already there pretty much.
I try to avoid all that situation by really not getting gifts. I mean, I used to do it for
Yeah.
my family all the time.
Oh
Last
yeah.
year, I got everybody in my family, mostly the males. I mean, my brothers,
Ah.
my dad. I got them all a jacket, a winter jacket, a nice thick winter jacket. Why? Because I bought these jackets in the summertime when I still was working in Phoenix, and
Oh,
I got
nice.
them. I got the great deals because they were good jackets and nice and sturdy and very warm. And not because I was, I always plan ahead. Don't get me wrong. I try not to shop last minute, but I always plan ahead and I just buy everything ahead of time. And I just gave everybody a jacket.
Yeah, just make sure to plan ahead and set a budget and stick to it, because we could easily get swept up with all the sales that they're doing, the marketing, and then they know where to attack because they know who you're buying gifts for, people that you care about.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, like, that their marketing will get you. Like, and of course, if you're getting a gift for someone you care about, you're not going to be thinking too much about price. You're just going to be thinking about,
I gotta get
I
something.
got to get something
I
meaningful
need
for
it.
these people that I
I
care
don't care.
about.
Just give it to me. I'll pay whatever.
Yeah, so always make sure to set that budget. And if you're from a Latino community where you have a lot of family members, or or any kind of type of family where you have a lot of family members or friends you're gonna get gifts for, I would just say remember to stick to your budget and just kind of reduce the cost. That way you could get everybody something, just
The fact that
for
you want them to be
the thought that
satisfied with
counts.
their, yeah, exactly. You want your family members or whoever you buy a gift for your loved ones to always be satisfied with what you get them. Everybody says, it's the thought that counts. Yes, but it's better to give than to receive. Yeah, I believe that. I wholeheartedly believe that. But you also have to be mind conscious about what to get, who to get for, and why you're doing it. Because I mean, you're not trying to, say something by getting late last minute, because if you wait till last minute, that sort of says something about you. Well, why did you wait till last minute?
But if you do get stuck and waiting for last minute type gifts and you need some ideas, you could also remember that getting experiences as a gift, and that's not something that maybe won't run out, like concert tickets,
Yeah.
a spa day, or even like a subscription box. Like there's all these subscription boxes. I know there's the dog subscription boxes, and those are kind of be more meaningful than material things at times.
Well, I mean, there's also gift cards too. I mean, that's the easiest way to just get everybody what they really care for. Everybody wants a gift card of some kind. Of course, you want to be mindful, but I mean, sometimes you can't please everybody, so might as well just get it done. The faster, the better. I don't know. Everybody has their own way of doing things. But this is just our opinion. We just want to make sure that you're prepared for the holidays. Not they're basically here, almost here, come and gone. So just always be prepared for getting in the season and getting yourself ramped up since it's almost the end of the year.
Yeah, and it is just typically an American tradition, but it also has a lot of religious connotations.
Yeah.
So if you subscribe to the religions that are part of the religion connotations, also keep that in mind. That's why I remind to tell my loved ones is that hey, remember the reason for the season. But yeah, if that's not if it's not your religious connotations, we respect you as well, and it's also just an American tradition to celebrate it. The holidays with good old Saint Nick and whatnot.
Yeah, no, no, yeah, definitely. So get yourself in the holidays mood. Listening to the music, of course. You can either subscribe to your favorite channel on your whatever platform that you use to listen to your holiday music, or if you just listen to the terrestrial radio, that depends on you. But whatever gets you through the day, we do want to thank you very much for being here at the Cali Current Podcast. My name is Ish.
And this is Grimace.
We do want to tell you thank you very much for being here every single time. If you're a new subscriber or a new listener or a new viewer, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button. And we look forward to seeing you on the next one. And we're going to bring you the next podcast pretty soon. So stay tuned for that, okay? Again, my name is Ish.
And this is Grimace. Happy holidays, everybody, and be safe out there.
Happy holidays from the Cali Current Podcast. Take care, everybody.